What's up everybody, welcome back to another video on my channel. My name is Dion and you're watching Reptiliatus. For those of you that are new to my channel, I make videos about specialty pets such as reptiles, amphibians, and different kinds of cool invertebrates. So if that's something you're interested in learning about, definitely consider subscribing down below and dinging that little notification bell afterwards so you don't miss any of my future content. I post videos every Tuesday and Friday. Now, real quick before we get into today's video, I just want to take a quick moment to thank all of my new channel patrons. So today, I'm here to thank Heather for becoming my newest channel patron over on Patreon. Heather, thank you so much. It means a great deal to me that you've chosen to support Reptiliatus channel a little bit further that way, and I really look forward to getting to know you better along with my other patrons. Everybody's viewership means so much to me, but if anyone is interested in supporting this channel a little bit further, Patreon and my merch is the way to do it. Over on Patreon, I have a bunch of different perks available for different tiers of support. So you can join and become a member for as little as $2 a month, which allows you to get a bunch of sneak peeks on future content. It's also a direct line of communication with me, so if you have questions about your pets, suggestions for videos, we have all kinds of fun little conversations over there. And the $5 and up tiers have all kinds of really interesting perks. For example, the $5 and up tier gets a handwritten thank you card by me. Yeah, my writing kind of stinks, but maybe half the fun will be deciphering what I wrote. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to me, and your viewership alone means the world to me. I'm so grateful. Anyways, let's head over to the reptile room and take a look at what's going on with Pingu there. But before we do that, I absolutely had to stop and say hi because someone is out basking this morning. Hello, beautiful. Are you gonna stay put for us to say hi? Sometimes she jumps into the water. We'll see how this goes. Hello. Isn't she beautiful? How could you not want to give that face a superworm? Here you go. Here you go, girl. Enjoy. Yeah, we definitely need to do a silkworm feeding video soon. Okay, enjoy your morning. Okay everybody, so now what we're gonna do is remove the lay box and take a look and see if Pingu did in fact lay a clutch. I mean, I'm basically 100% sure that she did, but we can't say that for certain just because we haven't actually seen the eggs. Let's go ahead now, gently dig things out and put them into a incubator if they're ready. I'm so stoked on this, everybody. Okay everybody, so here's the nesting box. As you saw from the footage, this side here is where all the action happened the other night. Isn't that right, Mademoiselle Pingu? So, let's go ahead now and remove the nesting box, which by the way, we're gonna have to provide one in here very soon for Mademoiselle Nona, who is most certainly going to be producing some lovely eggs soon. Nona, okay, you can do your thing. Yeah, it's gonna be popping in here. Lots of eggs soon, everybody. It's actually kind of tight. The cool part is, in a few short weeks, we'll be getting more eggs. I was just curious if I would see anything already through the bottom, but no, not yet. So much condensation on the bottom of this, actually. Let's go over to the desk. Okay friends, so understandably it can be a little bit nerve-wracking when you have a clutch of eggs in a container like this. I know the first time that I ever bred reptiles, which was coincidentally crested geckos, I was really worried about disturbing those eggs or harming them, or the whole thing about not turning them, and yeah, it can be a bit scary. So before we get into this, we're just gonna gently move this. I can't help but notice a lot of you really love Nona. But I also can't help but notice that a lot of you really love Pingu. So, for today's question of the day, I want to ask you guys, which of the two geckos do you love the most? I personally could never pick, because I just love my crested geckos equally. But I'm curious to know what makes you guys love one more than the other, or maybe you love both the same. What is it about these geckos that you like the best? And which of the two are you most excited to see offspring from this season? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, I'll give your comment a heart, and we'll engage in a little bit of a conversation afterwards. You hear that, ladies? They're gonna pick which of you they like best. Choose wisely. I could never, but choose wisely. I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to be incubating these eggs today. Now, normally I recommend using perlite or vermiculite as an incubation media. There are also a few clay-based incubation medias on the market as well. Some people use sphagnum moss, some people leave them in soil. I find that using perlite is sort of like an inert substance, doesn't mold or anything like that. I like using it. Vermiculite's even better because it's sort of porous. That lets you really manage the consistency of water going in. But besides that, what we're going to be using today is one of these. Now, there are different types of these egg, I don't know what to call them, stands on the market. This one, funny enough, just was like given to me for free. I don't even know the brand or anything. But essentially, the idea is that you sort of set it into the deli cup like so, and your incubation media stays below it. Now, when you're doing it this method, you can completely saturate this with water. When the eggs are sitting on these, the relative humidity alone is going to keep the eggs hydrated. So we'll do that today for these eggs, but going forward, we're gonna have to incubate the eggs the good old-fashioned way you used to see me do with the lychees. So you create an indentation in the moistened perlite and set the eggs in halfway, allows for some air exchange on the opposite side, and then we have a few air holes so we don't get too much condensation in the lid. Label it capiche. So first thing we're going to do is add our water. Now again, I'm adding a lot, but that's because they're going to be on the platform. If we were nestling the eggs into this perlite, we would only want to have just enough that you could squeeze the perlite and not have drips of water drop out. And that consistency would be what we want to maintain throughout the whole incubation. But as you can see, I've added a lot of water, like it pools in the bottom and everything. But that's, again, going to be more than fine because we're using this stand. Just want to clarify that. So that goes there. We'll put this aside for now. I'm going to pull this back over. So we know that Pingu's activity and digging was going on in this corner. So honestly, all you need to do is just gently dig like this and move the soil to the opposite side. You don't have to worry too much about touching the eggs or anything like that. It should be just fine. Yes, when we get there, we're going to want to try to avoid turning the eggs from the position that they were in. Depending how late you find eggs, that's when it becomes more of a concern because they're sort of set on one side of the egg. And so here you can see the first egg is showing. Okay, so we have our first egg right there. Oh man, how wonderful. It's funny seeing an egg this small again because the last time I looked at an egg this small was quite a while ago breeding crested geckos. I'm so used to seeing the large size Reptiliatus eggs, which are like 3 times this big once they're laid, not even halfway through development. So the comparison is just kind of funny. Here we go. So we're again just gonna slowly excavate around the eggs. Look at those. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is gently
remove the eggs from the spot they're nestled. Just gonna sit them out like that in the same position, just like that. Now, I'm usually not too worried about this, but what you can actually do is you can actually take a small Sharpie pen, and all we're just gonna do is this, just like that. One dot and one little line there. Some people will even write like the month and date on the eggs. I would like to minimize the amount of ink going onto my eggs, especially permeable eggs, as much as possible. But this allows us that if for some reason the egg were to turn in incubation, we know exactly what side to turn it back to. So you can do that. You don't have to if you know you're gonna keep it safe and never turn it, but it's an option. Okay, so now that we have our eggs there, they're ready to go into the incubation container. So really all we're gonna do is just gently pick up the egg, and with a steady hand, we're just going to deposit it into one of the little spots or slots, ideally a bit centered. Now what's cool is this will give the egg space to kind of grow into it, because as you can imagine, as this egg incubates, it will inflate and stretch with the developing embryo's size growing. So let's get the other one. Ooh, it's really narrow to get in there. There we go. It's kind of a tight spot. Okay guys, so we have our two first crested gecko eggs of the season. How exciting. I think what I'll do is, just to keep track, this obviously isn't moving anywhere, I'll write the date along here. One quick thing I wanted to also point out to you is usually I like to wait a few days of incubation to make sure that something is developed for sure or not. This is the easiest way you can determine if your eggs are fertile. Just have a little flashlight and you'll quickly place the egg above. You're looking for that red ring, and that tells you that there's an embryo developing. So if your egg glows completely yellow, no ring, oftentimes it's a dud, but I would incubate anyways until it actually really goes bad, just in case. Sometimes eggs are slow to develop. But if you have that little red ring, you're in business. The egg is fertile.
Now when it comes to incubating the crested gecko eggs, you actually don't need a proper reptile incubator. By all means, you can use one, and that could be super handy. But the cool thing about crested gecko eggs is you can actually incubate them at a bit above room temperature. If you can find a spot in your home that sits around 74 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit, you're set. Usually, I just leave my crested gecko or Reptiliatus eggs on a shelf and just check on them, ensure that the incubation media stays hydrated throughout the incubation process. And then in about 75 to 95 days on average for crested geckos, you can expect some babies to hatch. Nona, are you gonna be next? Are you gonna give us some eggs soon?
You are looking pretty chunky, beautiful. That's right.
Well everybody, I sincerely hope you enjoyed watching today's video. I'm so thrilled that I get to share this experience with... She's pooping. I'm very excited to be able to share this experience with you guys. Breeding crested geckos, as you know, is something I used to do when I was younger. Let's put little Nona away. But yeah, I can't wait to give you guys more updates on this crested gecko breeding project. Most likely, that'll be Nona laying. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Have a wonderful Easter weekend if you celebrate. And as always, friends, I can't wait to see you all on Tuesday for our next video. Take care, everybody. If you want to see more videos pertaining to keeping crested geckos, check out this playlist up above.